It's impossible to ignore the weight dragging everyone down today. The crushing feeling that freedom is just a brilliant lie, and every rule, every border, every supposed system that claims to protect is nothing more than a cage, barely disguised, but there all the same. For all the noise and chaos, it feels like the world is shrinking, not growing. Each headline, a reminder that divisions, nationalism, and tribal fights are stronger than ever. The distant dream of true freedom, the kind that doesn't come with strings attached, seems further away with every passing day. For founders, investors, leaders, professionals, those who move the world, this isn't just frustrating. It's terrifying because, deep down, you know that the old maps don't guide anymore. The old loyalties, the flags, the countries, they don't reflect reality. They trap the best among us in outdated thinking, boxing innovation, compassion, and progress into narrow lanes that keep us small, scared, and stuck. The pain is real. Feeling misunderstood, isolated, bearing the burden of what ought to be but simply is not. Society's machine doesn't recognize you, doesn't honor fire, the rare energy that fuels true change. Instead, it mutes it, dilutes it, demands conformity disguised as belonging. You're told to play by its rules, to follow the herd, to fit the pattern. But you feel the acid burn in your gut, telling you this won't scale. This won't build what is next. This won't unlock the future. This doesn't feel like your life. Not really. Not if you want to break the mold, if you want to create meaning beyond borders and old loyalties. But then, what if that fire could grow without putting out? What if you didn't have to drown yourself in conformity to be heard or to lead? What if the shackles of nation, party, identity were unlocked, and instead you discovered an entirely new kind of power? One not given by flags or approvals, but born inside you, fierce as hell and unstoppable. That's not some sweet fantasy. That's what the moment calls for. Right now, more than ever, the world needs people who refuse to silence that fire. The real pioneers, the few who reject comfort, who see beyond petty divisions and worn-out truths, who understand that progress is never from the center, never handed down, but claimed at the edges where discomfort sparks creation. Here's what's brutal truth. The world doesn't have a place for you yet, not in any system tied to nations or old structures. The infrastructure is broken, built for control, for sameness. But you are not built for sameness. You are built to break the mold, to be messy, different, misunderstood, radiant in your singularity. The problem is that loneliness, hidden in crowds, the disconnect that keeps brilliance scattered like stars instead of burning together as constellations. That's the real crime. Not that brilliance is missing, but the way the world is set up prevents the best from connecting, collaborating, and creating the future that's begging to be born. This moment demands breaking out of the prison of national identity and borrowed allegiance, so you can finally stand as who you are, a citizen of the world, sovereign and unbound. This is about becoming unshackled from the cultural illusions, the story that your loyalty must be to a nation or some predefined role. This is about unlearning everything that holds you back from seeing your true power. Because the power is always there. It's just buried beneath layers of fear, conformity, and false security. It's the power of radical individual freedom married with fierce connection to those rare few who burn as you do. Connection that is real, that feeds and sharpens, that turns individual sparks into blazing fires that light entire worlds. This is not about the many. This is about the few who will refuse complacency, the few who will say no to easy fits, to safe belongs, to mediocre rewards disguised as equality. You don't want a life that's processed or optimized for comfort. You want life raw, real, transformative. You want freedom that doesn't look like permission. You want to be the architects of new realities built on your own rules, not someone else's. And you can be. But it means rejecting the easy answers and stepping into a different realm where you live by your will, question everything that tries to hold you back, and transform the world around you by your presence alone. This isn't easy. It's lonely at first. But the path is there, built by those who refuse to bow, to wait, or to blend in. The infrastructure for real liberation doesn't exist in old institutions. So, the new infrastructure must be crafted by the rare few who link up, who align in vision, who fiercely protect their sovereignty and support each other's becoming. Instead of scaling noise or numbers, this space amplifies essence. Instead of demanding sameness, it sharpens contrast, strengthens connection through difference. Instead of preaching freedom, it practices it, with ruthless consistency. Imagine a network where your uniqueness is your greatest currency, not something to hide or apologize for. Where brilliance finds brilliance. Where the system that once sought to silence your edge is powerless against the collective force of the few who burn in sync. Founders who refuse to anchor in old borders, investors tired of chasing trends that divide instead of unite, visionaries who see beyond flag lines and tribal fights to what's truly possible. Here, individuality is not negated, but honored. Differences don't divide, but fuel synergy. This is the new power, the post-national power, not bound by geography or politics, but by a mission that transcends all of it, to unlock the full potential of human creativity, connection, and freedom. This is the only way forward. The moment calls for it. The pain of walls built between us is unbearable. The cost of staying tied to broken stories is killing the flame inside everyone who knows there's more. It asks for boldness to reject comfort, patience to play the long game, and above all, relentless faith in the power of individuals to remake realities. You must be sovereign. Your will must be your weapon, not to conquer others, but to conquer the part inside that doubts, that hesitates, that bends when it should burn. The true enemy is not any other nation or ideology. It is the quiet acceptance of limits that don't exist. The greatest slavery today masquerades as freedom, smiles as comfort, and kills fire with convenience and conformity. To rise above this, you must do what no system asks you to do. Be you in your purest, fiercest form, and find the few who get that. Not because they want to tame you, but because they want to fuel your becoming. Together, you form that autonomous network where misaligned brilliance realigns into a force so strong it cannot be ignored. This is not for everyone. It's not for those who prefer safety in numbers or comfort in conformity. It's not for critics who fear the quiet burning inside you, that restless tension demanding more. But if you feel it, that impossible pressure that says you were made for more, that there is a reality beyond all these walls, that you are destined to rise above and rewrite the human story, then this is where you belong. This is your call to shed the old binds, to step into the terrifying, beautiful unknown of true post-national thinking. Not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Because it's the path that leads beyond illusions and mediocrity to a future unleashed by the rare, the misunderstood, the once misaligned but now united. Remember this, labels and borders can't hold fire. They never could. Your greatest power isn't tied to a flag or a tribe. It's in your will, your thought, your relentless refusal to accept what is as the end of what can be. Real freedom is out there, waiting to be claimed, not given, not promised, but claimed by those who dare to burn bright despite the darkness. It's time to stop believing the world's lies. It's time to become the rare few who remake reality, not by fitting in, but by standing out. For too long, the world has asked for compliance. Now, it demands rebellion. The rebellion of the sovereign individual, connected to others who burn just as fiercely. This is the future. This is the becoming. This is freedom unleashed.